All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my gear guide. So I'm gonna be going over like early gear, late gear, just general gear tips, anything having to do with gear. Pretty much, I'll talk about everything here. I hopefully didn't miss anything. I might have missed some things, certain extraneous things I left out, just because this is more like either a jumping on or assisting point. Like anything that I left out, I feel like is more towards like very high end players who like will know about that anyway, so I felt the need to not include it. But I feel like I included most of the important stuff. So, let us begin. Alright, so early gear. One thing I will mention first, I will not be talking about enhancements because it would just take too long. Enhancements are really too detailed. I would have to talk about the market. I would have to talk about like strategies and things like that. So it's just too much. Maybe I'll make a different guide about that. The most thing I'll say is if your gear automatically comes +9 and up, keep it like that. And if not, get it to +8. That's all you need to do. It's just get it to +8. And if you automatically get it at +9, just keep it at +9, or +10, as you're gonna get the void weapon at +10. Just keep it at +10. Aside from that, I'm not gonna be talking about enhancements. All right. So with Elrenode set, the triangles, which are the levels, you want to keep them 27 to 29. If you can't get 29s, that's okay. 28's okay. 27's okay. The squares are your main skill. So that's going to be your main damage skill, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Make sure you don't spend too much ED on the squares, just because it's going to be replaced in the future. And then the circles, you want crit damage, 1 to 3%. 3%'s the best, and I think the set that we have now automatically comes 3%, so that's very nice. Now, the proficiency tiers are where it gets a little bit difficult. So for the top piece, you want polarized between 9 and 10. There's a different type of polarized called ×2 enhance. It's unnecessary. You can just get 10 and you're fine. Bottoms are interesting. So bottoms have either two important buffs they could have. You can have physical magical attack, or you can have action speed. Physical magical gives you more combat power, but action speed is really, really good in both Rasa Raid and Birth Raid. A lot of times DPS will ask for like, oh, is anybody using speed bottoms? These are the speed bottoms they're talking about. So if you want to be taken in Raid, or you want to be helpful in Raid, but you can't do that much, or you just want to add that little more like bang, speed bottoms are absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend taking some speed bottoms. Gloves, all skill damage up to 44%, as high as you can go. That's just pretty much my advice there. Shoes are another like kind of in an interesting and dynamic one. So you can either have MP cost, cooldown reduction for a certain type of skill, boss damage, or ignore defense. They're all good. Ignore defense will give you the most combat power. MP cost is pretty solid early on when you're just trying to learn the character, but any of these four will be absolutely fine. They're all good. They're all good. Got some questions in the chat here. Wait, doesn't Elrenode gear quest drop with max tiers now? Most of them are max, but I know the shoe in particular is not very good. I think the shoe in particular drops with maximized party. That's really bad. Replace your shoe, unless it costs too much money to find it, replace your shoe with either MP cost, cooldown reduction, boss damage, or ignore defense. Excuse me. Yeah. Alright. Next. Any more questions on Elrenode? This is the end of Elrenode, so any questions there? Nope? Okay. The Void Weapon, the most I can say about it for now is keep red 5, blue 3, yellow 4, and yellow 5. I think maybe sometimes you can replace blue 3. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the blue 3. If someone can correct me on blue 3, whether you keep it or get rid of it, please do. But I know for certain red 5, yellow 4, and yellow 5 you keep, for sure. And you place the others with Mystic Stones. Okay. Alright. So this is a big one. There's no blue on the board. So we got 3 titles here. We got Pierce the Heavens, we got Guardian of the Closed Space, and we got Fournier's Fruit. Keep blue 3? Okay, good. So Pierce the Heavens is from Elrenode City. Let me pop into game real quick. Real quick. So Pierce the Heavens is a title you get from Elrenode City. So you guys who just finished the jump event, This is one of the titles I recommend you get, either this one or one I'm about to talk about in a little bit. So Elword City, this is what you do for it. You can get some good L tiers while you're doing it as well. All you do is run the dungeon a couple times. That's it. Very, very simple to do, but very powerful. Where is it? Very powerful title. Both physical attack, both physical and magical, critical and crit damage. Absolutely fantastic title. Another one to get is Guardian of the Secret Closed Space. With this one, all you gotta do is secret dungeon dailies and weeklies, and you can exchange some barrier fragments. This is the most important title in the game right now. No matter what, this is going to be the most important title ever in the game for you, especially this is your main, because it helps you get every single other title in the game. 15% chance to get other titles and more experience points. Absolutely fantastic. So you just exchange those secret dungeon rewards with Ariel right here. I think it is right here, I believe. Where is it? I think I might have passed it. There it is. Yeah, so 150 rewards, you get this title. Best title in the game right here. Best title in the game. Yeah, we'll talk about Dark Gaze in a bit. Yeah, so that's that one. And then the final one there was Fournier's Fruit. So Fournier's Fruit is from Guardian's Forest. Oh yeah, it is called Fournier's Fruit. It is a revival title. So when you die while having Fournier's Fruit equipped, you will not die. You will survive with 1 HP, so you can just heal immediately after that. Really good, especially early game, because you're going to be dying a lot to certain end game contents. So very good. Highly recommend picking this up. It's 50 dungeon runs, not too bad, and it can be less if you again get the SD title. So yeah, very, very important that you guys get these. Yeah, we'll talk about Dark Gaze in a bit. We talk about Raiden a little bit later. But yeah, so Pierce the Heavens, Garden of Closed Space, and Fournier's Fruit are the 3 most important titles to get very early in the game. All right. Anything else about titles? Ain't too long you farm. Yeah, you can farm barrier frags too. Alright, so DSOI, Dimension of Sinister Intent, 5 entries per day, many accessories to cover empty slots. Eye, Wing, and Symbol are the favorites. So let me go to my Celestia over here. Yeah, Dimension of Sinister Intent is absolutely fantastic. There are so many accessories that you can just get and that fill so many slots. Like, I don't think I have all of them. I think I'm missing one here and then maybe somewhere else. But they just cover empty slots. So if you have any empty slots on your accessories, except for necklace and rings, I'm pretty sure they can cover almost any slot. And I think wing weapon accessory, it can't cover that too. So all you need to do is run Dimension of Sinister Intent, and then you just craft them here. 8 accessories in total. They're all really good. Once you upgrade them, they'll have adaptation as well. It's so good. It's so broken. It's so much free stats. It's just so good. Very easy dungeon to run to. Very easy dungeon to run to. So yeah, highly recommend that. It may take some time, but you get 5 entries per day, so it's not that bad. All right, next one. Okay, this is a big one, chat. So this is a gate fragment. A gate fragment is literally so good that I made it's just its own thing. This gives some of the highest combat power from any accessory in the game, any single accessory in the game. It is actually dumb how much combat power you get from just one agate fragment. Look at this. Hey, Hardies. So look at this. Just this alone gives me 22k. Like, it's so insane. It's so dumb. And it's actually quite cheap. It's actually quite cheap on the board. I think it should still be around maybe like a less than 50 mil, or around 50 mil, which is really good for the combat power that you're getting. Excuse me. Gates. Let me see. Yeah, it's like 40 mil. There's a million on the board. You can also grind for it in a gate dungeon, Shadow Vein. You can get Mystic Stones here too. It's just one of the best single accessories in the game. It's actually quite strong too. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend it. Very early game as well. Why the price drop? They increased the drop rate. I got it when it was 100 mil. It do be like that. It do indeed be like that. Alright. Yeah, but yeah, a gate, super cheap, gives so much combat power. And then the dungeon is good too for grinding, accessories, and Mystic Stones. Alright. So we got an early gear accessory set with Elria node, there's face top, weapon guard, face middle, and earring. You can either buy it or grind it. 3-piece effect is 3.5 physical magical. You saw it here, certain pieces on my Noah again. Let me show it off to you. Circlet's good, and earrings, you can flex with the earrings. I don't have the mask right now, but the mask is also good. Yeah, the set effect is just really good, really high damage, really high combat power, very nice. But yeah, most people do circlet, weapon guard, either mask or earrings, depending on what just build they want to do. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Yeah. All right. So here's the next dungeon accessory set, Ignia. I don't have it on any of my characters at the moment, but you get it from the 2 Lanox dungeons, Volcanic Flame entrance. Let me show you guys which one that is real quick. So you can get it from Lanox. So either Volcanic Flame entrance, or she's also a mini boss in Grand Cavern. So either of these dungeons you can get them. The problem with the Ignia set is that it's not a very ran dungeon, so sometimes the prices for these accessories are way too high. So if you're very early in the game, just look at these accessories and be like, okay, how much do they cost? Here, let's look at it right now. Yeah, the main problem with these is sometimes the price can be way too much. That it's, yeah, like 40 mil for one of these, like, yeah, 15 mil, that's okay, 20 mil, that's okay, but sometimes that, for like all of these added up together, it can sometimes feel too much. It can sometimes feel too much. So this one is, so the Ignia set is like I would say it's just like a, how do you feel about this? Do you think it's worth it to spend that much ED for a little bit of a combat power boost? Is your budget okay for it? If it is, maybe get it. The good thing about it is if you have bank share, if you just buy one Ignia set, you have Ignia set for the future because you can just bank share completely fine. But yeah, it is up to you and up to your budget if you think you're willing to buy it or if you want to buy it. Next one. All right, now we got the opposite side. So Ignia is kind of like the little bit expensive for a decent boost. This one, the boost from SD set, accessory set, is a lot weaker, but it is so much cheaper. It is so much cheaper. So secret dungeon accessory cube, you would have to buy 3 of them. They're all 1.5 mil. It's so cheap. It's so cheap to buy 3 of these. Like, how much would 3 be if I bought it? Yeah, like less than 5 mil. Absolutely less than 5 mil. Super cheap. Still super good. I got the goggles. And what else did I get? I got the goggles, Guardian Wings, and the Stinger. But there's also 2 other pieces that you can kind of flex with, I think. But very good. Very good and very cheap. That's the most important thing. Super cheap. And you can just grind it too. SDs are very good EXP very early on, so you can just grind it as well. Are those cubes random? No, you choose. You choose what accessory you want. Alright, Heroic Dungeons. Heroic Magic Stone for boss damage. You also get Iron Wedges and Weapon Wedges, which lets you put 1 more socket onto your armor or accessories. Do not personally recommend doing this for your Elria node or Void Weapon unless you are very desperate for combat power. Maybe you want to do it for your plus 10 Void though, just because it is plus 10, making it a lot better. But this is up to you. Definitely up to you. Heroics can be kind of a scam, yes. Alright, next one is Hanair skills. This one is like very easy to do. So, the best thing from Hanair, or one of the best things, for combat power boosting is Eroding Energy, which boosts your max MP. If you want more damage, go for Headhunter, but unfortunately, Headhunter will decrease your combat power. So, if you want to just increase your combat power, straight up increase your combat power, what you're gonna do is go to exchange here, and you just need 200 time and space fragments for an Eroding Energy. You can also buy one, obviously, but I think it's personally better if you just exchange for one. You don't need a seal to give it to your other characters. You don't need bank share to give it to your other characters. You can get it for one character and then just mail it to the character that needs it, and then you're good. Completely fine. So yeah. But Eroding Energy, absolutely fantastic. Not Headhunter. Yeah, Headhunter decreases combat power, but gives you more damage. Eroding Energy gives you a lot of combat power just for free. Very nice. Alright, next one. And here we got some examples. So the one on the left, it's rocking the triple Elria node, triple DSOI, triple Ignia set, and then we got some rings and magic necklace there too. And then my Noah is rocking triple SD, triple Elria node. It would be I think no, that's triple DSOI. No, it's only double DSOI. A gate fragment there. But yeah, you can do a lot of different builds. With your goal. So this is the last one for early gear. Your goal for early gear is getting into two things. Your goal is getting into raids. So you're getting 333 combat power, 333k combat power, and getting into Sea of Ruin, which is 270k combat power. So your goal with early gear is just to get to these combat power levels, and all the tips I've given you can definitely get you to that level. So this is kind of the first kind of destination I say you were trying to get with early gear. Even without a gate, like, that's the thing. All these tips here that I've given so far, like, all of them definitely surpass the threshold to get into raid and Sea of Ruin. But I'm giving you so many options so that you have a lot to pick from. So you can be like, oh, I already have my void weapon good. Oh, but I don't have DSOI pieces, so I got DSOI pieces. That's why I don't have enough combat power, or things like that. Or oh, I don't have a negate fragment, and things like that. So you yourself can check and be like, oh, what do I not have? What do I do have? Because people will come to me and they'll be like, oh, check my gear. How good is it? And yeah, a spelling error, maybe. I wouldn't deny that. I wouldn't doubt that. Okay, but is that everybody good on that? The next one is more like generic gear. Anybody else has something to add for early gear? I saw Gam. Oops. Anybody have anything else to add for early gear, or any of the last comments about early gear? But yeah, early gear's goal is to get towards Riggamore and to get towards Rasa raids. How do we grind bank share? Watch ELS streams and win ka-ching. Are my gams okay? They're pretty okay. Alright. Let's go into generic gear. So that was early gear. Let's talk about generic gear. Let's talk about Mystic Stones. Ladies and gentlemen, Mystic Stones are one of the most powerful systems in this video game. Oh my goodness. They are powerful, but they can also very much not be your friend. It's one of the best and one of the worst systems in my opinion, but it's a very powerful system. So with Mystic Stones, you get them from Varnamir. They are a Varnamir based system, and they go on all legendary weapons. Yeah, it is Mystic Stones are like when you see the truth. When you see the truth of RNG, you see the true power of RNG. So with Mystic Stones, your reds want to be either magical attack level or physical attack level. Magical attack percent for blue, or physical percent. Magical or physical percent for yellow. And then for the giants, you want either magical percent or magical level. It doesn't matter. Technically, if you're min-maxing, you want 2% and 1 level, unless you're plus 12 and you want 2 levels and 1%. But it's not that big of a deal. It's honestly not even that big of a deal. It's only if you're min-maxing, so don't worry about that. Just get either physical or magical percent or level. Those MR marks, and don't worry about it. No critical damage? No. Yeah, so level, percent, level, percent. And again, going back to when we talked about void, where is it? So you just got your void weapon, right? You just got your plus 10 void weapon. Red 5 keep, blue 3 keep, yellow 4 keep, yellow 5 keep, and then the rest of them you're gonna do what I suggest right here. Physical magical attack level for red, physical magical percent for blue, physical magical percent for yellow, and giants either physical magical level or percent. This can be a very expensive system, so I very much recommend just doing commons or elite. Just do commons or elite. Don't get crazy. You don't need to get crazy. It's unnecessary. Just stick to what's good. Are all these slides accessible through a link? Yeah, if you join my Discord, I'll put them in the Discord. There'll be a channel called Live Guides. I'll put them there. Not this very moment. Probably when stream is over. Give me like 5 minutes or 10 minutes and I'll put it there. But yeah, if you join my Discord, there's a channel called Live Guide that I just made. I'm gonna put it in there. But yeah, Mystic Stones, absolutely fantastic. Great combat power booster. Great damage booster. One of the strongest systems in the game. Can heavily be RNG though, so I highly recommend sticking to common and elite very early on. Alright, so sockets. Let's talk about sockets for a little bit. The most important stats for sockets early on are critical and maximize. Critical and maximize, it depends on the character that you're playing. It really does depend on the character that you're playing. I mean, I just gave a generic like 70 for each, but you really need to ask people who play your character or are more experienced with your character how much crit and maximize do you truly need, because those people know for sure. I just put generally around 70 because most people need around 70, but I would highly suggest you guys ask other people who play your class how much crit and maximize you actually need, just so you don't oversock it. Action speed 20%, getting a bonus 20% is also good. It will appear on your stats screen. Remember that your action speed on your stats screen, so let me show you right now. So your action speed on your stats screen always starts at 100. So I'm at 123. That doesn't mean I've socketed 123. It only means I've socketed 23. So remember that. Don't get confused by that. So around 20% action speed's good. And Awakening Time is a decent combat power booster. Awakening Time is not a good stat, but if you're in desperate need of combat power, Awakening Time is something you can do. And then boss damage on your extra sockets. So once your crit's done, once your maximize is done, once your action speed's done, boss damage. Boss damage is what you go to unless you need more combat power, then you go to Awakening Time. And that's only if you need it from sockets. You can, just do the crit, maximize, action speed, then boss sockets. Yep. 55 on casts. There you go. Yeah, some classes are different. It just depends on your class. Okay, so costumes. Costumes are difficult to talk about. Costumes are a very interesting thing in this game, just because they're pretty sparse. You can do them in event dungeons. Here, I'm gonna show you. So there are all these dungeons in the game. They're called the event dungeons. They're these little cute kind of mini games you can do. And they each give you their own material. With these materials, you can craft 100% free-to-play costumes. Absolutely no money from your own pocket. The only problem with these costumes is that it does take quite a bit of time. You can see all these costumes here. It does take quite a bit of time to actually grind all these costumes out. So you might be like, that's way too much time. So it might be worth it, it might not be worth it to you. It just depends on how much time you're willing to invest in things like that. But something with costumes that I highly recommend, highly recommend, is the current Ice Burner, glove, and shoes. If you don't have any other costume, make sure to pick those up. Glove and shoes for any Ice Burner, any current Ice Burner, will always be cheap. So Wander Markin is in circulation right now, so we're gonna look up Wander Markin glove and shoes, and they're gonna be extremely cheap. Let's see. So shoes 11 mil, and then gloves should be 14 mil. So cheap, so much combat power, and you get a 2-piece set effect. 2-piece set effect for Wander Markin is MP cost 5 and critical 5. So good for just stats wise, so good for combat power building. Really good. If you have no other costume and you're still grinding those event dungeons, make sure you're getting a Ice Burner glove and Ice Burner shoe. So good, so good. And then if you're desperate, if you're super desperate for combat power and you need to really get some, I think promo cubes. Yeah, promo cubes are 5 mil. And promo cubes are 5 mil, and they give you the entire costume for the character. If you're very desperate for combat power, and you just need something for 7 days, you just go here. The 5 mil, super cheap. You can get 5 mil very easy. So you can just keep redeeming it every 7 days and get those set effects for this promotional costume. You know, desperate times. Sometimes you have desperate times. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have desperate times. Yeah. Give me a second. Let me drink some water here. I've been talking a lot. Okay. So next one. We're still in generic. So ERP. I'll make it simple. With ERP, you want to do all skill damage, and then polarize, and then boss damage. After that, you can do maybe adaptation, MP cost, MP cooldown. It's up to you. Very early on, Secret Dungeons, Arena City are good for ERP leveling. Shadow Veins also good. And then once you can get into Trosh is just the best. Very simple, straight to the point. I won't waste too much time on this. Alright, let's talk about rings for a little bit. So. Rings are one of those items where it is just like one of those cash shop items. Sometimes you can get them from the board. Sometimes people selling them on the board. What I said before I got rudely interrupted by my OBS crashing. Yeah, so that's the thing with rings, is just, if you feel like you need the power that rings give you, definitely go for them. But if they cost too much ED, don't worry about it. There's a lot of these other tips here that boost your combat power. They boost it enough to get you into all the content that you need to get into, so it's absolutely fine. If you want to era to upgrade, it gives you more combat power and more damage. Not necessary though. You can be fine without it. Yeah, that's about it. Time to take notes. Atsu, you missed a lot of the stuff before, but it's okay. Got more stuff. Alright, next up. Now, to talk about imprint stones. Alright. Now, when it comes to imprinting is a difficult system, unfortunately. Imprinting is not forgiving. It's all the worst parts about mysticking, unfortunately. It's very, very hard to get combat power out of this, and it can be very expensive. So with mysticking, it's definitely like a, you know, your kind of last resort, I would call it. Your last resort to meet combat power thresholds and things like that. And even then, it can still be bad. So, if you do want to imprint, just do it with commons. Try to aim for ignore defense, physical, magical, party MP recovery on the yellow stone, and then whatever on the blue stone and whatever on the red stone. It doesn't matter for those two. But yeah, imprinting is just a difficult system. It's also kind of not worth it, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're very, very, very desperate, please just use the commons. Please just use the commons. Alright. Next. Alright, so we gotta talk about demonic vine crown. Wait, pen and laser pointer. I like... Oh, that's cool. You guys see that? You can. Well, whatever. I'm being distracted. Okay. So demonic vine crown is a weird one. So demonic vine crown is a combat power decreaser, but a damage increaser. Demonic vine crown is the strongest single accessory in the game. For those of you who don't know what it does, let me show you. Maybe like switching between like the presentation and this is what caused the problem earlier. Where's my demonic vine crown? I don't wear it anymore. Here it is. So demonic vine crown, the most important thing about it is that it decreases your physical magical attack by 5, but it gives you a buff of physical magical 10% when you awaken. Now, because of how Elsword math works with calculating the stats and things like that, the 10% increase is actually heavier than the 5% decrease. So mathematically, you would think -5 plus 10, that would give you +5. Actually, in reality, because the 10% is heavier, it's actually a 7.5 physical magical attack power increase. Around 7.5, something like that. That's what makes it very, very strong. It is absolutely very, very strong. And a little fun fact, I'm wearing Soul Crown right now. Actually with Soul Crown, so Soul Crown just gives you physical magical 5%. If you already have maxed out adaptation, it's actually better to take Demonic Vine Crown because Demonic Vine Crown's boost is so much stronger. Guardian's Forest, right? Yeah? Yeah, this is Guardian's Forest. I'm not crazy. Y'all call me crazy for saying Guardian's Forest? Yeah, it's Guardian's Forest. I ain't crazy. But yeah, that's the thing with Demonic Vine Crown. It will decrease your combat power, but it will increase your damage and helps you awaken more often. It is very, very nice in that aspect. I mean, it's not like just good for Rage Hearts. It's good for anybody because that decreased awakening time is actually really good because it times it out very well with certain proccing titles, like certain awakening titles and things like that. So it's actually really nice for that. All right. Next one. So, ice burners. Let's talk about ice burner accessories for a little bit. Probably one of the most expensive things you can buy. In terms of just like ED, just buying an item. Yeah, it just depends for you. If you can afford them, you know, you're probably gonna get them, and they are always kind of like some of the most optimal options. But like I said before, DSOI is very, very broad in the things that DSOI covers. So you can just use 2 DSOI pieces or 3 DSOI pieces instead of ice burner accessories. Don't worry too much about it. No, like, I use ice burner accessories, but you don't have to if you can't access them. DSOI is completely fine. Like, even some endgame players still use DSOI because of its adaptation instead of ice burner accessories. So don't even worry about it. But it is an option. Alright, now we can talk about late gear. So, late gear. Again, like I said earlier with the early gear section, your goal is getting this set. Your goal is getting this set. So you can get it once you get to 270,000 combat power. You either want Crimson, Cerulean, or Sage. Violet is for PvP, but, you know, this is not a PvP guide. So, either Crimson, Cerulean, or Sage, depending on your character. What Crimson does is it gives you a lot of Polarize. What Cerulean does is, at a 20% chance, the skill you just used get automatically reset. And Sage is a support set, giving your party crit damage increase and all skill damage. We gotta talk about Cobalt. It is, you pick Crimson, Cerulean, or Sage. Also, only reforge with your Spectral Amethyst, sell all your Glacium. Do not reforge with your Glacium. It is not worth it. It is for people who don't have much time to grind, so they just want to get it over with quickly, so they'll buy a lot of Glacium. Always sell your Glacium. Always reforge with your Amethyst. Cerulean also has MP cost decrease. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Rigor is great. The set effects are insane. Lots of adaptation. A lot of free combat power as well, if you're worried about combat power. Rigor is definitely one of the gear goals, I would say, is a Rigor set and getting a high reforge on that. Yep. Alright, let's talk about Rasa Weapon. So Rasa Weapon is interesting, especially for you guys who just did the jump event. So, oh yeah, real quick to talk about the jump event. So the people who just did the jump event, this is your next gear goal. And Rigor probably won't be good for you yet, because it'll be +8 until you get to Reforge 9. So for the people who just did the jump event, grind Sea of Ruin dailies, Rigor dailies, 5 Rigor dungeons a day, until you can make all the pieces, just with Spectral Amethyst. Again, don't use Glacium. And then once you get them to Reforge 9, then you can start using them. You can use them a bit earlier if you want to, just for the adaptation, but once it gets to Reforge 9, then it gets really, really good. Is that jump for today? The jump is for the next 2 weeks. So we got 1 free jump now, and then 1 free jump we're gonna get later. Yeah. It's the event going on right now. Anything else for Rigor? Alright. So Rasa Weapon. So I'm going to talk about Rasa Weapon in regards to the people who just did the jump event. Yeah, we're getting 2 jumps. This one this week and then 1 next week. You can make 2 jump characters in total. So, I would not. So if you have that plus 10 void, I would not recommend using an FOJ until you get it to plus 9. When you open an FOJ from a cube, it has a chance to be plus 9, but if it only comes at plus 7 or 8, just keep it at 8. Just keep it at 8 because you need an enhancement event to take it to plus 9. That's the most I can say for that. For the people who just did the jump event, is that Rasa weapon is just not good until it gets plus 9. That's just a fact of Rasa weapon. Yeah, that's just a fact of Rasa weapon. It's just not good until you get plus 9. But once you do get plus 9, again, red for level, blue percent, yellow percent, giant level or percent, and it's absolutely godlike. It's so insane. Sorry about that. But yeah, once you get to plus 9, absolutely insane, super great. Direct Clot, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But yeah. Bless me, thank you. What's sneezing? Good X. Why am I sneezing so much? Oh my goodness. Stream cat crashing killed me. Ain't OP, thank you for the follow as well. Okay. Whew, jeez. Why am I sneezing so much? Oh my goodness, stop it. Alright. Oh my goodness, I have one more sneeze. Alright. Now, talk about titles. So we got Survival of the Cold, Dark Gaze, someone was calling about Dark Gaze earlier, Guardian of Arenode, and The Setting Sun. These are all kind of the late game kind of titles, like gear titles. So Survival of the Cold is very easy to get. You have to grind out Ice Right dungeon, which is the 4th dungeon in Rigamore. Abandoned Ice Right plant. The good thing about that though is you're going to be getting a lot of Glacium from that dungeon, so you can make a lot of money, thankfully. And the title's fantastic. Dark Gaze is probably the first title you want. Again, for the people who just did the jump event, you want to start getting Dark Gaze. You want to start getting Dark Gaze. Let me show you what it is real quick. Hopefully this doesn't crash my OBS. So, if you just did the jump event, just now you just did the jump event, you want to be getting Dark Gaze. Where is it? So, Dark Gaze, you just need to clear the second raid dungeon, Never Ending Darkness. Clear it once, and then clear it 10 more times without resurrecting. Very, very easy to do if the party has a good DPS and a good freezer. Very, very easy to do, and it'll happen naturally. It's from the second dungeon, Never Ending Darkness. Very, very easy to get. You can get it within 1 day, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days. Super easy. Super, super easy to get. Alright. Yeah. Should I wait until 4th path to open the cubes I have from the jump? Yeah. You can, for example, if you're waiting for 4th path Elboy, do the jump event with a base Elboy. Like, keep that Elboy just base, get all the rewards, do the whole jump event as base, and then keep the cubes in your inventory, and then open them up once you obviously did the job for 4th path. I got Dark Gaze before the nerf. If the stuff does not expire, then that works. I do believe people said it was permanent. I do believe people said that was permanent, so you can stay at base. Our block thing for the follow, by the way. Oh, man. I randomly just, like, got sick or something. Clear once to discover is wrong. It's clear 10 times to discover, then 10 times... Is it really 10 times to discover? I might be wrong. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Yeah, sometimes titles in game don't have the discovery requirement. I believe you guys. Yeah, it's 10. Okay, so you just do it 20 times. It's still easy. Yeah, you just do it 20 times. It's fine. What else? Guardian of Arenode. So Guardian of Arenode, it is very late game. It's just a title when you awaken, you get a buff. That buff gives you a lot of skill damage and a lot of different. Here, let me show it to you guys. Actually, yeah, this is one of the greatest titles you want to get, especially if you want to be DPS. Is Guardian of Arenode. When you awaken, you get where is it? When attacking, yeah, all skill damage 15% for 30 seconds when awakened. So what you do is you just use the title switch button. When Awaken with Guardian of Area node, and then switch to your DPS. So in your instances, guys, it probably would be Dark Gaze. So Guardian of Area node, Awaken into Dark Gaze, and then you're gonna be doing a lot of damage. It is very nice. It is very high skill, like not high skill ceiling, but definitely it is a more advanced play in PvE. Getting used to it might take some time. Using onions could help too, but it's very fun to do and is a lot of damage. Very. Accessory cube and Elagos cubes are temporary. Okay. The important ones are the Void cube and the Area node cube, which I think do not go away, so that's good. Alright, and then Setting Sun, highest DPS title in the game. You get that from Titan's Grotto. It can also be very expensive to use because every time you use a skill with the Setting Sun, you use up a L's Essence. This one. So every time you use a skill when under this title, you use up 1 L Essences to you just kind of consume it and then you do a lot more damage. So it can be kind of expensive sometimes. Alright, next. So we got roster rate accessories. These things also have the fan nickname Exodia. So they are 3 pieces, a bottom piece, support unit, and a weapon guard. The bottom piece has 5% to all your speed. The eye has 5% crit damage increase, and the weapon guard has 10% all skill damage, with a 2-piece effect of boss damage, 3-piece effect of polarize. One of the strongest accessory sets in the game. Very, very easy to get. It does take time. You do have to run a lot of raids, which is why I recommend making a good amount of supports. So maybe one of the characters you want to make during this jump event is a Celestia. If you haven't already made one, maybe like a Centurion or a CC. Nova these days is pretty decent as a support. Who else? The PO is very good these days. Catastrophe is very good these days as a support. Yeah. But yeah, so easy to get. You just have to do raids per week. Make sure you're at least doing 2 raids a week, and you should get these within no time. Yeah, you can either exchange blazing crystals for them, or they can drop naturally in the dungeon, or you can dismantle a weapon to get one of them. Either that is fine. Yeah, you get 5 blazing crystals from dismantling a weapon. Yes. All right, so. Next up, we have the Master Road accessory set. These can also drop in their own individual dungeons. They can also be crafted with just dailies and weeklies. Most builds will use the Gaia earring, Ventus. I think that's what is it called? Ventus hair ornament, and either the Adrian necklace if you're magical, or the fire necklace, or the Rosso necklace if you're physical. Some people also use Denif sometimes. There's a couple flex builds with Denif. It just depends on what build you want to do. Yeah, really good. Second best accessory set. So good. Nothing else to say besides that it's good. It does take a while to grind though. It does take a long time to grind just because you need 1,000 coins to trade for them. But it is very nice. Drop rate does not affect these dungeons, no. They are a unique dungeon. Drop rate will not affect them, so do these dungeons with your maximum power. If you're weak, just make a party list and be like, hey, can someone help me with Master Road dailies? And somebody will help you. I've done that before. It may take some time, but yeah, just make a party list, ask for someone to help you with Master Road dailies, and keep working on it, and you will get a absolutely fantastic accessory set 100% for free. Yeah. Alright. Next, we got Masterclass. So, Masterclass also has its own gear. It has the most important ones are rings and circlets and armor, but that's only later on. So, on the circlet, you either want critical or maximize. On the rings, you want crit damage. I think you can get adaptation, but I probably wouldn't recommend getting adaptation on it. I think crit damage is better. And the armor, you want damage reduction, but that's only important in birth rate. If you're not doing birth rate yet, don't worry about getting damage reduction on the armor. It does help, but it's not a priority until birth rate. I don't talk about the Velder necklace just because it is so expensive, but yeah, Velder necklace is one of the necklaces you can get. Yeah, I don't talk about that in this guide. It is good though. It is good. It just can be quite expensive, so it's hard for me to recommend it early on. And then by the time, like, I don't recommend it early on, and by the time you can get into Master Road, you can just get one of these necklaces anyway. So yeah, Denif build though does use magic necklace. The Denif build uses magic necklace. And then the hidden power, which activates at stage 3 for your artifact. For hidden power, you want either boss damage. Adaptation's also there, but I think the boss damage is better. Because you can max out your adaptation through other ways. So I would probably just get the boss damage for hidden power, personally. All right. Next thing is L collection. So with L collection, each character you put into your L collection book for a good amount of ED, you get some just consistent buffs on it. It can get very expensive because each character costs a certain amount of ED. I can't remember how much ED it is at the moment. I feel like it's 50 mil, but let me check. Let me see, Ariel. It's 60 mil. Okay, it's 60 mil, yeah. So it can get quite expensive. So again, this is another one of these things where you have to use your proper judgment. Yeah, just use your judgment if you should want to do it. Yeah, you can do story quests. If you want to do story quests to get the ED for them, that works. That's 100% fine. Don't go too hard on them though. I think if you want to do this, make sure you're either getting, depending on who your main is, physical or magical attack, ignore defense, skill damages, critical, maximize, and boss damage. Those are kind of the big things that you want to prioritize yourself with. They give the biggest combat power boosts and things like that. But yeah. Is it recommended that the collection? Yeah, so based on who you're maining, you either want to prioritize the physical buffing characters or the magical buffing characters. And then if you play like Nova, for example, you would want Nova and Bloody Queen. So yeah, it just depends on who you're playing. And again, if you can't afford it, don't go so hard on it. Yeah, we're just about to talk about... So, Synergy is a very, very powerful and very unique system, but it is very, very expensive. This thing costs 30 mil a week, and grinding up 30 mil a week isn't too bad, but it definitely adds up. It's a lot of ED per week. So, you know, it's another one of those things where it's just like, you know, it's up to you whether you want to go for it or not. Fortunately, with the L collection, this is permanent. Once you get these buffs, you will always have, like, once you pay for it, you'll always have it. And these buffs are for your entire account, which is really, really good. Synergy is just for one character. You pay for one character, but all the buffs are super game-changing, and a lot of them are very, very good. If you do want to use it though, Demon's a good effect. That's all 3 Lucille's. First path is good, second path is good, third path is good. Again, it just depends on the character you're playing. Find Cause It Hurts is another revival that is separate from your title. So if you get Find Cause It Hurts Synergy and you have a title, I believe, no. They're the same. So you can use a damage title instead. So if you have Find Cause It Hurts, you can use a damage title, and you don't have to worry about resurrections because you get the resurrection right here from Find Cause It Hurts. If you have third path though, that's another revival buff, and that revival buff is different from your title res. So third path is one of the strongest synergies. Sharp is also good. It's just generic damage. Yeah, you don't need an early game. That's why it's in late gear. Even in late gear, it just depends. Again, yeah, these two are like, it's just depending on how you play, depending on how much ED you're making per week, things like that. Again, collection is so permanent that if you want to get these more crucial things, definitely go for them, and then maybe leave the extra stuff for later. But Synergy, don't worry too much about that, I would say. No. Find Cause It Hurts is good because it is the same as the title, so you can use a damage title. That's what I was saying. Okay. Yeah. So for example, you can have a resurrection and still use Dark Gaze or like Setting Sun. You don't need a resurrection title to try and save your butt. All right. So here's an example here. Got myself here. Ice Burner accessories. Rigor set. As you can see here, Exodia we got here. Double Ice Burner accessories. Master Road accessories. This could be a gate or fur. I don't talk about fur here, but this would probably be a gate for you guys. And then we got the rings here, just rings. Yep. Not a weird flesh example. Setting Sun's also here. It's an example. Masterclass, yeah, Masterclass is just grindy. Alright. Show combat power. I mean, you saw it in game. It's like, I think it's like 3.4 mil. Alright, so we got two left. So these are what I like to call gear goals. So these are the gear goals right now. These are some of the things that even I don't have yet, and it's kind of why you're building yourself at Varnamir and Rigamore towards this, which is Prunom Raid, aka Birth Raid. It's very difficult to get in. It is the current endgame goal. The weapon is very similar to FOJ, but it has a new system called Evolution Stage, where you get permanent stats with filling some quest requirements. It is a very good weapon. It is a very strong weapon. It is the current goal. Not much to say beyond that, but except for the fact that the reason why you're building all this and you're doing all this is so you can get stronger and more capable to be able to do Birth Raid and be taken into Birth Raid. Yeah. If we're talking about like how to like actually get into Birth Raid and doing Birth Raid, I think that's a different guide. Maybe we could do that like next time or something. Is actual Birth Raid maybe dodging guide or getting into Birth Raid guide. There's a lot of things I can say about that. But yeah. This is the goal here. The goal is to get into Birth Raid. And then the last stuff is just more things about Birth Raid. You got Night Parade is the first title. It has a damage capabilities, and it also has a revival built into it. So it is very good. And at the bottom there, we have Black and White, which is the strongest DPS title in the game. Uses essences, but it uses a lot less, significantly less than TSS, so that's really good. Again, these are just your goals. These is what you're working towards, these two titles right here. Really good. It's really good, really worth it. Yeah. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. That is my gear guide for you guys. I hope when you guys are doing your own gear stuff, you can look at this and be like, oh, I didn't do all the Master Roads. I can use Master Roads. Or just like, oh, my gear isn't good. What am I missing? I did my best to include everything that you could potentially... Man, there's a lot of follows today. Thank you guys so much. I did my best to include every single thing you can do to increase your gear, except enhancements, because again, enhancements are just way too complicated and they just need their own guide to talk about enhancements. So I didn't go over enhancements. But aside from that, I hope this covers almost every single thing you can do to increase your gear, to increase your combat power, to increase your strength to a level that you like it, and to a level that you can start doing stuff in the game very well. Yeah. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. That is the guide for this week. Tell me if you guys liked it. Tell me what guide you want me to make. Next ELS stream, we did ED guide, we did Nova Imperator guide, and now we have completed the gear guide. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's enjoyed.